Formula V making their way out onto the circuit for their second race of the day. Of course, race number one, unfortunately, interrupted and red flagged with 2 cars off down there on the entry into turn number 7. It will be Paul Moltoni in car number 6 will be on pole position from Fowler. In car number 10, then Mason Legg running his newly acquired car, in car number 85. And then we have the husband and wife team of Rod Lisson and Kathy Lisson. Vinny Paduanu making a good return this year so far in car number 69. Then we have Kenny Wyatt and Danny Chero running a 1200cc this weekend. He was the best of the 1200s from Dave Campbell. Then we have Wilkins and Jonathan Scarey, Isaac Scarey, Cameron Gow, Alan Yo, Mackenzie Matthews, and Samantha Casely. She's out there for her first run this weekend. And behind her will be the AJ of Quinn, Mark Quinn, in car number 40, the X-Miles Lockett car. And then we have Mackenzie Gow in car number 18. And the 2 drivers that unfortunately left the circuit was Franz Estabauer in car number 80 and Callum Lamont. So that will be the way that they line up very shortly here for race number 2 for Home Chef, the Formula Vs.
Race 1, of course, somewhat compromised through incidents for Estabauer and also Lamont Vaughan. It'll be interesting to see how they claw their way back through the field throughout the course of this race in a bid to set themselves up for a full crack in race 3. That meant that Moltoni led the field to the checkered flag behind the safety car. Let's hope that we can go the full scheduled race distance here in green flag conditions. Already 2 minutes 14 has been chewed up by the formation laps, so it'll be about 3.25, maybe 3.5 by the time we see the green light as they're making their way around onto the main straight right now. Terrific to see. Such a great field of particularly the 1200s. I mean, 1600 has become the common go-to for Formula V racing in this country, but there's still a great following and a great network of 1200 entries right across the board, and particularly there in WA. That is rather fruitful based on the standard of other states where the 1600s hold reign and hold supreme.
Well, joining us in commentary for this one is Miles Lockett, newly retired, and he's on-sold the car to Mark Quinn, a newcomer to Formula V racing. Good afternoon, Miles. We've got to quickly say hello before we get this race underway.
Yeah, we do, mate. Yeah, g'day, guys. It looks like we've got a bit of an issue down on the grid. I think Danny Chero's taken up his incorrect position, so it's created a bit of a backlog. I've got Campbell Gow behind one of the Scaries, Jonathan Scarey. Looks like, yep, now they're all starting to get themselves sorted out, now into the correct grid spots, and we should be all underway. But Franz Estabauer, unfortunately, his car is beyond repair. It's got a bent front end and a few steering components, so he's unfortunately out for the rest of the day. Callum Lamont's car, though, is okay, and he's managed to get out there. But it looks like also we've got a problem with Maddie Matthews. Her car has got a few issues and stuck on pit entry road, so this might lead to a delayed start.
Yeah, delayed start here has been called by Motorsport Australia Race Controls, and it looks like Mackenzie Gow, I think, is down the back there in car number 18. She looks like she has... no,
it's Maddie Matthews.
It's Maddie Matthews, is it?
In the Jason, yeah. She's been having a lot of gearbox issues with that car throughout the course of the day. The gearbox has just been fully rebuilt and having a few issues selecting sort of third to fourth. So I think that's probably what's happened to her again. So she's now got the car mobile, so hopefully she'll just take it straight up into the pits and call it a day maybe for this one, as the rest of the field cycles themselves around for another warm-up lap, which unfortunately, as you said, is now taking time away from the actual race. We've already chewed up 4.5 minutes of race time, and we're already now down to 10.5 minutes, and it looks like Maddie has gone onto the circuit. Hopefully she can get this car mobile. Looks like she's starting to get some gears, and underway, and she'll take her position now at the tail of the field.
Yeah, unfortunate start for this one.
If anything else, gents, this just places the onus on capitalising on what limited time you have, not making any mistakes, taking the opportunity to make overtaking opportunities when they present themselves, because I guess the intensity lifts when the race distance is shortened, and now we're going to be racing less time, essentially. Lights out to checkered flag than what we were in race one, even though this was supposed to be scheduled to be a slightly longer affair.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, you're spot on. It's a case of trying to make your moves early, and but still, obviously, they're going to get the last lap board showed to them. So that's really what Formula V is all about: setting yourself up for the final lap of the race, and using that all-important slipstream as we came out of turn 6 and over the top of the hill down to turn 7 for the final time.
Well, Zach, as you've seen earlier in race number 1 and thinking back to last year as well, it's not uncommon to see these cars come 3 wide over the top of the hill down into turn number 7 for the last time, and it's the winner with the biggest brakes is going to take out the win.
Well, I can think of other words to put in there, Vaughan, but let's go with brakes.
This is a family-friendly environment up here, mate.
Absolutely. There's a fair bit of bravery because at the end of the day, it's whoever goes deepest, whoever commits the most, and whoever trusts their car to be able to do the job and pull up. So you will occasionally see incidents like what we saw before. That's all part of racing. It took me a while to click what was a little bit different there about the main straight, boys. If you want to go and get a glimpse of the main straight now, you can actually stand in the middle of the bridge and see the cars going on by. Last year, this time, you would have only heard them if you were crossing that pedestrian bridge.
Yeah, that's right, mate. The Perth, Western Australia sign has been taken down temporarily, and they're getting all spruced up, and that'll be back in place very, very shortly. Down there on the front row, it's Moltoni and Fowler. The second row is Mason Legg and Rod Lisson. Then we have Kathy Lisson and Vinny Paduano. That's the first 3 rows. Everybody seems to be in their correct positions. Green flag being shown from the back. And I just did see somebody crawl, but I don't know who that was. But a great start from Fowler. He's trying to get across in front of Moltoni as they head down into turn number 1. It's not going to work. And we're having a look, and unfortunately, Mackenzie has still got issues with car number 92.
Yeah, she's finally got a gear, Maddie, and she's up and away, so she's now going to chase the F5V vehicle and pass that into turn 1. Always an interesting experience for a race driver to overtake the F5V vehicle.
You can see that she's definitely got a gearbox problem, because when she did find a gear, you can see her head being thrown back into the seat. So hopefully she can get this car up and running again. It looks like it's up into about 3rd gear at the moment as she comes across the bus stop.
Yeah, as long as she gets 3rd and 4th, that's the main thing. Now she's up and running. So let's hope she has a good race from here on in. But just waiting for the field to come over the top of the hill, and it's still Moltoni ahead of Jason Fowler, who's a lot closer along with Mason Legg. Mason had a little bit of damage in his car from turn 1 with the incident he had with Callum down at turn 1, but he's managed to sort that out. And then a little bit of a gap back to the fighting listens, Rod versus Kathy, and then back to Vinny Panuatu and Ken Wyatt sitting back there in P number 7. The 1200 battle is on between David Campbell and also Danny Chero in his car, and they've now got one of the scary boys being Isaac Scary. He's managed to find some real good pace, and he might actually try and go for a double here in turn 1, but no, the traffic's been blocked, and he has to settle into P3.
We pick up with Paul Moltoni heading up through the right-hander over the top of the bus stop at the moment. Only 1 or 2 car lengths back from him is Fowler in car number 10, and then Mason Legg. And Mason would have to be pretty happy with this brand new car. He's actually running about 5th or 6th, and then now he's got this new car. He's right up in the top 5 consistently now.
Yeah, that's a car out of Victoria. It used to be run by Brandon Taylor in the Victorian Championship. Brandon's actually a WA boy, but he used to fly over to Victoria for their state championship. And so Mason bought that car just before the final round last year, and he's really getting acquainted with the car. Just making little subtle changes every now and then and getting more and more speed out of it.
As our leaders are already coming down into turn number 7, Moltoni has actually stretched that lead now out to 3 or 4 car lengths over Fowler in car number 10. Then Mason Legg right in the slipstream of Fowler, trying to look for a move on down into turn number 1. I think he's going to be too far back at car number 85, all over Fowler in car 10 for Giant Mandurah as they exit turn number 1. These 3 starting to get away now from Rod Lisson, who's broken away from Kathy Lisson, his wife, and And then we go back to Vinny Padawanu, and behind Vinny is Kenny Wyatt in car number 55, running for Giant Mandurah as well. There's a fair few of these Giant Mandurah cars out there.
Yeah, certainly are. Yeah, obviously that did come out of the Giant Mandurah stable. That was previously run by Franz Esterbauer. That's why it's still got the Giant Mandurah livery on it, and Ken likes it, so he thought, why not? I may as well keep it on there. It's a good-looking car. So, but just looking at the times here, I'm just trying to see in terms of fastest laps. Can't sort of see anything there. Curious as to Kathy Listen. Kathy actually did like about a mid-68 last in the first race, which is, I think, the fastest she's ever been. She was hoping to try and crack a 7 in this one, so let's see how she goes by the end of it.
Mason Legg having a look up the inside of Fowler this time. Out brakes Fowler and drives straight underneath the Giant Mandurah car number 10, as they exit out of turn number 7 and onto the main straight. And in the background behind them, you can see Rod Lisson moving away from Kathy. And again, Fowler drives straight underneath Mason Legg. So there's a bit of to and fro happening here with our Formula Vs. Mason Legg all over the gearbox now as they head up through the left and the rights as they work their way towards turn number 4. Fowler getting a little bit of the bus stop ripple strip there, but a good entry into turn number 4. Should see him pull away a little bit here from Mason Legg as they crest the hill.
The only problem with this is it's allowing Maltoni to get away whilst we battle. They really should be trying to work together to try and bridge that gap to Maltoni, but if they keep playing like this, that unfortunately the length from first to second to third is going to keep expanding.
Took the words right out of my mouth,
remaining.
I was just about to say, Vaughan, sorry, I was just about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth with the comment about Maltoni just drawing clear, but he hasn't got away as quickly to the extent that he did in race 1. That's probably the only positive to take out of that battle for second at the moment. And it's almost to the point now with only 3.25 minutes left before we hit time certainty, boys. So it's probably 4 laps from here, which will get us to 8-9 in total. That's the only positive to draw, because 8 tenths even is starting to get to that point where it's going to be very hard to rein him back in.
Absolutely.
Best part of the day for Danny Chero at the moment is that he's leading the 1200 cc's from Isaac Scarey in car number 44, and then the season campaigner Dave Campbell. So that's your first 3 in the 1200s, and it looks
David
like
Campbell's got problems,
he's
guys.
gone. Car number 58 back up into the paddock area. So that now changes it. It's Chero, Isaac Scarey, and Wilkins.
No, Wilkins is in the 1600, so it's Campbell Gow. Yeah,
Yep.
Campbell Gow is now into third position in the 1200 field. And obviously today, guys, as well, we're racing for the Gerry Prosser Memorial Plates, which is always happens at the first round of the year. Gerry was one of the original stalwarts of the class when it first formed here back in the 90s, and was a great engine builder, great bloke, and was the half of the Gerry Kane Mechanical Workshop down in Morley back in the days. And so unfortunately, we lost Gerry, I think it was 2018, 2019, so we've always dedicated this first round. So it's based on the overall points for the day. So far, Paul Maltoni has got a good stranglehold on it, and Danny Chero as well.
So those trophies are normally presented on track, so we'll have to find out whether we're actually going to do that this afternoon or not.
I think we're just going to do them back up in the pits one.
Okay. Yep. No worries. So there's car number 8 coming into screen at the moment.
Yeah, that's Ben Wilkins. He used to run a 1200 last year. He's now stepped up into a 1600. That's the ex-Mason Legg car from last year, the Polar. And he's acquainting himself very, very well with the car. His lap times are getting quicker and quicker every time he goes out. He's about a 12.6. He did an 11 apparently in the first race. So he's coming to grips with the car. It's his first race meeting. And yeah, going from a 1200 to a 1600 may not seem much, but it's big. Yeah, okay, more horsepower, but they take a different way of driving the car. Have a look at the battle for the lead now. It's actually closed right up. It looks like we've got Jason Fowler steaming down the inside of Maltoni. So Maltoni may have made a mistake over the back of the track that we didn't see. And we've now got a battle in 3, Royale, no, we haven't got the last lap board yet. So it'll be 2 more laps to go, I'm reckoning, fellas, by the 50-odd seconds we've got left on the timer.
Yeah, you can really throw a blanket over these first 3 now as they head down into turn number 1. Up and over the top of the hill, that's one of the BMGraphics cars, a car number 44. That'll be the second of the Scary Boys.
That's young Isaac.
Yeah, he's doing a great job out there. Not too far behind Danny Chero's. Danny comes down off turn number 7. The green car, that was the Wilkins car that we were just talking about. So it's a long way back to Campbell Gow in 3rd place for the 1200s.
Yeah, Jonathan Scary's actually now rounded him up, so it's now a Scary 2-3 in the 1200s.
Campbell Gow coming across the line now as we pick up with car number 7.
That's Sammy Casely.
Yeah, it's a car that we normally see Dave Casely driving and driving so well. And now it's time for Samantha to show us what she's got.
Exactly right. Yeah, no, she's unfortunately had a bit of an incident last week at practice, which actually the leaders have just caught up on Mackenzie Gow. Just they came through turn 7, but Mackenzie did a great job getting out of the way and let them through. So it's now battle on, and the last lap board actually didn't go out. Now we're minus 20 seconds, so I thought the last lap board may have been shown, but maybe they're going to give them a couple of laps.
But it's really on here. Look
It
at
is,
this.
isn't it?
All over the back of Paul Multoney is Fowler for Giant Mandurah and Mason Legg right in the gearbox. So yes, you can still throw a blanket over these two as they come through the right-hander and back into the left-hand sweeper that leads up and over the top of the hill as our cameraman picks it up from the top of the hill in turn 5.
Oh,
There's a
Jason
small
Fowler's.
shot.
Yeah, he's lost it at the
right
top.
on the top of the hill there and has gone off and has beached himself, unfortunately, for Giant Mandurah car number 10, John Fowler. And that is going to be game over for him. He's going to watch the rest of the field stream past. So that will promote Rod Lisson up into P3, Mason Legg up into 2, but nothing, you can't take anything away from Paul Multoney.
Actually, it's split the field up. Mason Legg's actually in front, guys, coming down into turn 7. So it's Legg now in front from Multoney.
I don't know what happened with Paul Multoney there because he was well clear of that incident.
Is the checkered flag out? No checkered flag out as yet. No, what
Yes,
happened?
it is. Checkered flag
It
now.
is, yes,
Yep.
checkered flag is out. What actually happened was they got to the top of the hill and they actually came up on Sammy Casely, and I think possibly Paul may have just had to roll out of the throttle, and that caused Jason to check up as well and lose the car. I think that's possibly what's happened. Nothing, obviously just a racing incident, unfortunately. One thing I did notice just coming across the line there, fellas, that Rod Lisson actually purposely slowed up and allowed Kathy Lisson across the line to take P3 for the race.
Well, that should settle. There'll be no arguments when they get home this afternoon.
Love it.
A good win for Mason Legg. His first victory in the newly acquired car, and a well-deserved winner in car number 85 from the home chef man in Paul Multoney in car number 6, and Kathy Lisson, as Miles just said, takes out 3rd place. As far as our 1200s, it's going to be Danny Chero, 2 from 2 now over Isaac Scarry and Campbell Gow up there in
the final
P3.
corner. Yep.
So, yeah, a great run there for Campbell Gow. Jonathan Scarry not too far off the back of Campbell. Then we had Alan Yo, John Fowler showing in 14 at the moment, but he'll drop right to the bottom. Mark Quinn, Mackenzie Matthews, Samantha Casely, and Mackenzie Gow. She's only showing 7 laps. So definitely a big problem with that gearbox on board Mackenzie's car.
Interesting race, that one, wasn't it, boys? And again, a little bit anticlimactic towards the end, unless your leg, of course. Car number 85 getting the job done. A magnificent performance. And you all analysed that so perfectly because it all happened and unfolded dramatically and quickly in the sense that, yes, there was a 3-car fight unfolding on the last lap. Yes, they were encountering lap traffic. And all hell just broke loose, unfortunately. And yet again, we see Fowler on the rough end of the stick there. And like those that have fallen into trouble already today, it's a back of the grid start for race 3. There doesn't appear to be any issues with that car. It should be a case of just bring it out of the gravel trap right now, take him back to pit lane, and all's fair and equal.